Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Happy Friday, happy Saturday, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is The Power of Etiquette and Manners, and it's sponsored by the British School of Excellence. Our star of our show is Mr. Philip SYKES. He is a dear friend. He is someone who's putting so much kindness and compassion and empathy into the world, and he's the principal and founder of the British School of Excellence. Let's welcome him to the program. Hello.
Hello. It's Friday, as you said, ready to celebrate Friday. Not sure about what the weather's doing where you are in the world, but I tell you what, the UK, we've been blessed for the last 2 weeks with incredible weather.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love when it's sunny and bright. It makes you feel so good. I know here we're dealing with the deluge of air pollution from the wildfires in Canada, and the air quality was up to, I should say quality, with 279, which is really unhealthy. And today it's down to 131. So that's a good thing.
That's devastating. You know, we really feel for everyone, especially the parts of the country that have been really hit hard. We sent messages to all our students in the US, just wishing them all the best. And, we can only hope and pray that it sort of gets under control very soon.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. Thank you, Philip. We have so many topics that we talk about on this show, and they're all really important. I just want to announce also, we were supposed to have a guest who had to cancel, unfortunately. So Philip and I will be handling the show, and it's always a lively and good conversation. So our topic today is something that makes people frightened. They don't want to talk about it, and it's about money. Money's a currency. It's an energy. And lately, I know myself, I found on social media, people I don't know are reaching out to me, asking me for money on LinkedIn, on Facebook. I need your help. And then it always has to do with money. And of course, we have charities that we work with that want our money. And of course, we have bills to pay that requires money. And we have the man and woman, the person on the street coming up and asking us about money. So let's dive into it, Philip. What is the philosophy when it comes to asking people for money?
That's a huge question, firstly. Secondly, before I go into that, it's quite interesting where you see certain, I suppose, what's the word I'm looking for? Experiments, let's call it human experiments that have taken place over the years. And one of them is very much focused on what we talk about when it comes to, they set up a gentleman who sort of look at pleading poverty, and he goes into a restaurant and he asks people for a bite of their pizza. And everyone shies away, and then what they do is they rig it up that another person buys a pizza and goes and gives it to a homeless person, and the same chap who's asking around the restaurant if he could have a piece of people's pizza, and they're all shying away from him, he walks down the street and says to one of the homeless people, please, I'm really hungry, I haven't eaten today, may I share? And first thing that person does is offer him a slice of pizza. So it's quite interesting to see how we as human beings handle certain things, or what our mindset does to us and for us. It can really sometimes, I think, put us on the back foot, especially when, I suppose, you're taken by surprise. Is there any further question on that, or would you like to comment on that before I go into answering your wonderful question?
I think the one thing I just want to comment on for people who are joining us for the first time is that your organization helps people understand many different areas of etiquette and manners. And what was once thought of only as holding a door open or the proper place settings at a table, etiquette and manners is really emotional intelligence, it's integrity, it's compassion, it's leading with your heart. And so they're the topics that we're bringing to light. And I know that the work that you're doing with your team and the people who come through your doors is resonating. It's a ripple effect that's going all around the world. So we're going to talk a little bit about your work there as well. So let's get into the part about money, because I know it's something that is fleeting, and sometimes we're grasping onto it desperately. Sometimes we're praying for it. Sometimes we're showered in it. So I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Jan. For me, I always love assessing each situation case by case. And I think this for me is about remaining calm and composed and approach the situation in a compassionate and understanding sort of mindset and manner. And I think we understand that homeless is a hugely challenging and sensitive issue. And one must also take into account that just because someone's homeless doesn't mean that they've done something bad, or, there are various factors that affect people and why they become homeless. And it's a plethora of reasons behind that. And just off the back of the wretched pandemic that we all had to endure, there are a lot of people now more on the streets than ever before. And this is not just in countries where there's sort of a third world country. This is very prevalent globally. And, I think for me, it's about making that conversation, if you feel comfortable, and take a real moment to talk to the person and listen to their story and, show genuine interest. Now, I understand that sometimes we're in a fleeting rush and someone says, they've got their hand out and they're begging, then that's very different. And if you've got a few coins and you've assessed the person with your very quick assessment tool, and you feel that person could do with some money, wonderful. If you feel that money may be used to go and buy alcohol or feed a drug addiction, then again, I would then, if you're going into a store, buy some food and hand it to the homeless person on your way out. And I think that is something that I would definitely start off by giving people some guidance, is really, I think, take time to understand why people are in that sort of situation. I often in London, around the Mayfair area, which is one of the most, well, I'm going to put it up there with Knightsbridge and South Kensington and Chelsea. It's possibly one of the most prominent residential areas with some of the most exclusive shops down New Bond Street, and there are a lot of homeless people hanging out there. And sometimes off the back of an afternoon tea, when there's extra sandwiches and beautiful cake and scones, I will make sure that our venue packs those up into lovely boxes, and I will make an effort to go and distribute those in areas where I know some homeless people are.
I think that's beautiful, Philip. I love that. One thing that I really also enjoyed that you shared is getting to know their story. And I think I'll just share a recent instance, I should say. I was in a city and there were homeless people on many of the street corners, young people. I saw one woman, she was literally lying over a sewer grate, and she had to be in her 20s, and she had what looked to be marijuana in her hand. And another guy who was clearly under the influence of something and just minding their own business, doing their own thing. And then there are other people who actually came up to me and were following me. And so when you're a woman by yourself in a city, it's kind of like, I don't want anyone following me because I don't, I have a suitcase and I'm trying to get to where I'm going. So I think that there are different circumstances, and that's what you were saying, that you have to evaluate each one. If it's a matter of your safety, then if the person's homeless or not, it doesn't really matter. You want to get from point A to point B. What about when people are soliciting us for money on social media, on these various platforms, and then they're commenting, oh, I saw that you helped this person, can you help me? And of course, we'd love to help everyone, but we can't. So what's the proper etiquette for that?
That's a fantastic question, as always. Dr. JACALYN, as you know, we support both you, your organization, our organization. One of the organizations we support is the Push Child Foundation in Uganda, along with Roland. I know Roland's a big supporter. We recently actually set up a platform where people can donate some money, and I placed it on our alumni platform, and we've already had some very generous donations, which is just amazing. But going back to your question, people will pick up on the fact that you're generous. And I've got a heart that I said to Leanne, actually, I'd empty the bank accounts, quite frankly. But I've obviously got a little bit more savvy, hopefully, on my shoulders. But I do find it difficult to say no. But in these sort of situations, I would just pray that you assess what we can afford to donate to whichever chosen charity, or you might even choose to say, my charity is homeless people. And if you're earning, let's say, $1,000 a month, hypothetically, then you might want to say, I'm going to take a very small percentage of $10, $20 a month, and that's going to go to my so-called cause. Now, if you've got deeper pockets, then you can obviously put a little bit more aside. And then again, assess each situation where, what are they asking for? Could we return our giving by offering some coaching, or offering some guidance, or offering something that we can do by giving our time rather than just physical cash? Because again, you don't really often know who you're giving that money to. It needs to be a registered charity, because with all due respect, with all the best will in the world, I know many people would look at this very skeptically, but especially because there's so much online fraud and there's so many scammers out there now. And at the end of the day, it's really important that we slow down, don't let our heartstrings pull at this, and just take some time to assess. And it took me, us as an organization, a good 3 or 4 months to engage and set the platform up with the Push Child Foundation. Another one that we jumped into is with mindset and youngsters who really find life very challenging. And so we support that particular charity as well, which is also on our website. And that there is a little bit more of an easier approach, because it's a set-up organization, it's professionally run. So I would always just do your homework and make sure you do your research.
Excellent points. Thank you, Philip, as always. I know for me, my charity that I'm aligned with is the Crohn's Colitis Foundation, because I'm a patient. I've been sick for 30 some years. I'm on the board. I run a support group. So for me, I have 3 events that I'm responsible. I've committed to raising certain amounts of money. And that's what the priority is, because that's where my commitment is. And not that I don't want to give to other charities. The next one I would give to definitely would be the Alzheimer's Association, because that's something that's prominent here in the world that I'm in. So I just want to bring awareness to people that you don't know what everyone is going through, and you don't know what people are dealing with. And so therefore they may be aligned with certain charities that they're helping people get through situations that they're in. So I think it would be great if we had enough money to give a little here, a little there, a little here, a little there. But as you get more involved in the charity, you have higher commitment levels of the amount that you're committed to raising. Philip, you're on mute.
Absolutely, Dr. JACALYN. I love that. And it really does make sense to maybe each year you change a charity just because you've worked and supported one charity, or you've got to a stage where you're making a little bit more money and you can then add another charity to your list. We tend to, we've alternated quite a bit now as an organization with our global partners. For example, Patrizia in Brazil. They go into the favelas, they go into the squatter, the sort of real hard beaten places in Sao Paulo, and they go and give of their time and their expertise and impart amazing education and tools with the power of etiquette and manners and emotional intelligence. And that's had some great traction. Again, I know Dr. Sadia in Pakistan, along with Shandana, are doing exactly the same sort of thing. So in every way we can contribute it. As I said earlier, it does not have to be a monetary value. Your time is more precious than actually money is, because we can go out there and earn more money, but we can't get more time back. So again, when we're giving our time freely into a good cause, it's got a huge double sort of whammy and even a bigger impact in so many ways. And here in the United Kingdom, we have a lot of charity shops, a huge amount of charity shops. So Oxfam, Princess Trust. So from Alzheimer's to you name it, we've got a charity shop that will support any major cause out there, give or take. And I know lots of people, including many of my friends, in between jobs, they took 2 or 3 weeks or 4 weeks and offered their time to go and work in these charity shops. So there are many ways we can add value. It's not all about the financial side of things, because again, when it comes to money, that can also get into the wrong hands and it can be misused, and we've seen that through many different organizations over the years.
Brilliant. That's so true, Philip. You know, this morning I decided to go over on the Clubhouse app, which I haven't been on there in years. And I just went into Breakfast with Champions, one of the rooms they have there. And the person who was running the room, he was talking about adding value. And he said that he knows exactly how much his time is worth. And that the hour he was giving to this room, to these people, to me, he was volunteering basically, because he could be taking that hour and doing something else with it. And I think that's a beautiful point that you brought up. Everyone's time is valuable. And so when you give it to someone else, when you're here today giving it to our audience, you could be doing something else with that. So that's a true gift. And if we could all be giving that to one another, our time, then imagine what could come from that.
That for me is huge. It's incredible. You know, Dr. JACALYN, as you know, you and I are avid continued professional development learners, and I've been recently joined the Professional Speakers Academy. Why? Because I want to learn. I want to see amazing other ways that other people who are phenomenal at their craft, how they deliver and how they engage. And through this academy, you also meet incredible people, like-minded people, people who are positive, people who want to make a difference, people who want to offer their services and offer their experience to people. They have a purpose, they have a why on how they want to sort of make a difference in this world. And through this amazing platform, I was speaking to one of the ladies on the course who lives with her husband in the south of France now, with 3 beautiful children. And she left me the most incredible message today. She said, "I've just helped someone change her life. This woman came to me at the school gate feeling in tatters. I put her in the car, said, we're going for a coffee. And she said, in the time that I had with this woman, I gave her and shared with her so much. I helped her mentally, emotionally. Not only that, but I helped her build a business in her, and we drew it up on paper. And I gave her the tools to build her confidence. Now, it's not a quick fix, obviously. It's going to take time. But she left the message saying, Philip, I've now got my direction. I know what I can do going forward with my life. And that, for me, is the biggest gift we can offer to people. Just as you said, Dr. JACALYN, every single one of us in this world has got so much to offer. We just need to realize that, and then we go out there and just offer it.
Perfect. I love that. Thank you, Philip. A couple of other areas in reference to money, and then we can segue to something else, is what is the proper protocol to ask someone for money, whether it's a family member, whether it's a stranger? Is there some etiquette around this?
Ooh, the old adage, someone would always say, never a borrower, lender be. It's a great question, as always. I'm just giving this some sort of thought while I'm sort of standing on my feet here, thinking on my feet, as they say. Dr. JACALYN, I think one of the things that I would definitely do is understand who I could potentially ask. Now, personally, in my situation, I would go to a family member first before, if I was really desperate, or maybe even my wife, because might be in a position that might be able to lend me something from her savings, or even though we might have a joint account, there might be a bit of extra money that she's put away for a rainy day. Potentially my brothers, if I was really hard pushed. And then I would most probably, and I'm just, as I said, sort of putting myself in this sort of situation mentally, is then I'd most probably draw a list of 3 or 4 friends that I feel that I've got a strong enough rapport with, that I would then, in a roundabout, maybe not even a roundabout sort of way, but just diplomatically engage with them and give them an overview of your circumstances, and that you've got a vision, you've got a plan, you've got a process, but right now you just need some bridging finance of some sort to help you out. And try that with the various people that you feel comfortable in doing that with. I know there's a lot of people, who don't like talking about money. I know a lot of people out there who would rather go and beg before they have to ask someone for money. But having said that, it's not the end of the world. We've all got to help each other. And again, sometimes there are people in this world that will borrow money from you, and you know full well that you're not going to get a return, or that money is not coming back to you in a hurry, if at all. And I'm sure all of us have had that particular sort of scenario play out in our lives. And then, again, you have to write it off. I would also suggest that anyone lending money should have that in the back of their minds, in the sense that, look, if I lend Philip £1,000 and he couldn't pay it back, how would I feel, and could I continue living, and will he still be my friend? And if you can say, yeah, I'll continue living, he still will be my friend, and it's a circumstance, and then adopt a philosophy, often what comes around goes around. So you've got to sort of assess this as sort of bite-sized chunks and break it down.
Excellent. I love the way you describe that. And I think to add on to what you just said, it might be prudent to say, Philip, I'm coming to you for money. This is really awkward for me. I feel embarrassed and ashamed. And I'd like you to lend me X number of dollars. And here's my plan of how I'm going to pay you back. Or I could come to you and say, Philip, things are really bad. I need a gift of a certain amount of money. I'm not going to be able to pay you back. I'll tell you right now, maybe one day in the future, when the money comes back in, you will be the first person I come to. But right now, I know I can't commit to paying you back. Would you give me a gift?
Yeah, that's great. And that's honest, and that's sincere, and it's you're being very vulnerable. And you've got to swallow a lot of pride in order to be able to do that. Look, some people don't have an issue doing that. Some people are just takers, and that's one of those things. And that's something else. Always give, never remember, always receive, never forget. And I don't mean become a pushover. Dr. JACALYN will always say yes, not in that sort of scenario, but really at the end of the day, it is so important that we really understand who we can lean on and not take advantage of people who would honestly give you the shirt off their back, because they will land up never wearing a shirt again. So I think that's really important. And again, something that's really, really fundamental here is whoever's asking you for money, be it a good friend or just someone that you sort of an acquaintance or someone you don't know, just with all due respect, I know this comes into most probably mistrusting someone. Just make sure that you're not lending them an amount of money that they're going to feed a habit with. It could be gambling, it could be alcohol, it could be drugs, it could be going out there and just squandering it. And funny enough, also, I think bringing this into play is advancing people money, even though they're going to do work for you. Just be very aware of that, because you never know what can happen.
That is such a good point, Philip. And I'd like to discuss that a little bit, because more and more, I know with myself personally for this business, I'm working with contractors and people that I'm getting from reaching out to me online. They're in other countries. I don't know them. Some of them, actually, we have somebody on our team who does phenomenal work, does not speak English, and we work completely through a transcription service. So what do you think is a good policy in terms of what to pay and when? You decided to work with someone to do something. They ask you for all the money up front. That's the first option. They ask for a portion of the money and then the rest upon delivery, or you'll pay them upon delivery.
Okay, three sort of answers for that. The first one is never all up front. Never. With all due respect. I mean, we don't go into a restaurant and sit there and they say, well, hold on, you must pay £200 or $200 before you eat, unless you're going to a function where you've got to pay in advance, or you're going to somewhere where you've got to buy tickets in advance to attend. But I'm talking, again, you don't go there and ask for that money up front and then serve them. Now, I know the industries such as airlines and the shipping world, the luxury cruise world, and there are certain businesses that you do need to pay up front because you're showing a commitment. Because if you let them down at the last second, then they're left empty-handed and they cannot fill that space. It's the same, I suppose, Dr. JACALYN, in your coaching industry, in my coaching industry. If we don't get money up front, and in that person's, we've just had that sort of scenario with our beautiful London experience in London tour. An amazing woman, part of our trainer alumni. She put down a 25% deposit, and now she's turned around. She said she cannot make the journey for whatever reason. And that's left us high and dry, with all due respect, because we've had to commit to some very expensive tickets at Ascot and the beautiful Belmont train that takes us through the Kent Valley, and then going to the Lion King, and all these little events that we've had to pay up front for. So unfortunately, there's certain industries that do need that upfront payment. Now let's and I'm sorry to pick on, let's say, the building trade, but let's pick a builder. There's no way I'm going to give money up front until the building job is done. I might put down a 10% deposit. A, will show my commitment, and B, they can at least get some materials with that. Hopefully the builder's got a proper cash flow system that he can go out there and purchase those goods for you on your behalf, and then at the end he can invoice you. So there are definitely scenarios that I wouldn't throw more than 10% at, and then there are scenarios where I definitely wouldn't part with any money until the job's done. So for example, in the United Kingdom, if you get your car serviced, you don't pay up front. You will get a report, what they're going to do to the car, what it's going to cost. And if you then give them the go-ahead, then you are committed to making that payment when you pick your motor car up. So it's the old adage, the old cliche, it's horses for courses.
So much important, powerful content that you just shared there. Thank you for that. I want to talk a little bit about time, which we've been discussing. Time is very valuable. And I know with your schedule and my schedule, we're friends and we have a hard time matching up because we're so busy. And what I'm finding more and more of, and I'm sure you are as well, is people have just started calling me on the phone. There's no appointment. And then they start messaging me, hey, I need to speak to you. And I'm thinking, I don't have 5 minutes for a spontaneous call. And I know it's the same with you. What is the proper etiquette for a stranger reaching out to someone when they want something?
Firstly, I'm apologizing on air to you because you and I have been like passing ships in the night, and I feel very guilty at times when we're trying to coordinate things, and it's not for a case of point of not wanting to make that effort. But Dr. JACALYN, it is fundamental that people check in with one another. So for example, we've been asked to do something this Monday on picnic etiquette for GBTV, and I emailed the lady, a very nice lady, and I said, call me at your convenience, and she very kindly sent me a text message. Because I gave her an open window, call me at your convenience. And she sent me a text message, hello, Philip, this is so-and-so. Please call me or let me know when it's a suitable time to call. And I then was able to text her back, I'm free and available now. So that meant I was engaged. I was able to engage with her mentally, emotionally. I was very present when we had that conversation. Calling people on the spur of the moment during the course of a busy working day, I don't even do that with my close friends who work in the city. I tend to most probably send a WhatsApp and say, if you've got a window or a gap at lunchtime, give me a call. But I think I'm going to come up with two sort of contradictory ideas here. I love the spur of the moment, hey, I just called to say I love you and I've been thinking about you phone call. But that really is beautiful as long as possibly you could accept that telephone call. So the one thing I would definitely say, if you cannot accept a telephone call, don't answer it, because it's going to land up with you, sorry, I can't talk right now. I've got to go into a meeting, or I'm in a meeting. And I would just not answer the telephone. I would always potentially have my phone on silent or vibrate when I'm in meetings or when I'm with other people, because you don't want to be distracted by the telephone on any level. You want to be present. But just harassing people and thinking they're there for your convenience. On the contrary, the phone is there for your, as the person receiving the call's convenience, not the caller's.
That's so true, Philip. Thank you for that. And where I'm going with this is I found more and more, and you know, with the power of listening, asking for permissions and setting boundaries. I just had this happen the other day. This person keeps contacting me, and I thought, let me just answer the phone. So I answered the phone. I said, hello, thanks for calling. I'm in the middle of dinner right now with my family. Can we schedule another time to talk? And the person just kept going on and on and on. And so finally I said, I'm sorry to interrupt you because I hate to do that. I said, but I told you this was not a good time for me. Can we pick another time? And then they kept going on. And I thought, this happens all the time. You just have to hang up. That's what I did. I just hung up. Then they start texting. I don't understand why you hung up.
I just block numbers in that situation. And the other thing is with a cold call, I then asked him, I never agreed to go on your database. And a lot of the time they'll pop the phone down, because you can get into a lot of trouble in the United Kingdom, people cold calling you. But those people who keep trying to call you, I would literally just avoid that number and on your telephone, so you never hear from them again.
Fantastic. Wow. You know, Philip, it's interesting. Someone just put a comment up insulting me while we're on the air, are there any manners and etiquette about that?
Yeah, it's very brave to be able to stand behind a screen and send something. It really and truly is. I think that it's a form of bullying without seeing the bully. Really, at the end of the day, you're very brave to send a comment, and most probably done anonymously as well. And it's just, I just think that's cowardice, and it's so easy to use digital technology to hide behind. And again, I ignore negative comments. I don't let it even harass me anymore. It really is not fair.
Exactly. I give that person grace. I have no idea what she or he is
Maybe
going
they're
through.
going through something really bad. You just don't know. Maybe
She doesn't think I'm dressed professionally.
Oh my word! I'd love to see her professional. You always look amazing, and I know how much time and effort you put into the way you present yourself. And by the way, that's a powerful, beautiful red color. And anyone out there who wants to present wearing red of some form gives you that real standout positioning, and it really is a very, very powerful color. And red, especially on you, Dr. JACALYN, especially with your complexion, if we were to get a color wheel and talk to a stylist or an image consultant, red would definitely be one of your very positive, proactive colors that suits you and your energy and your complexion. So, at the end of the day, I would never heed advice or guidance from anyone out there who can point fingers without any sort of platform, any sort of foundation, or any warranted understanding or example of why they're doing that.
Exactly. Thank you, Philip. And something I just want to mention, because you at the British School of Excellence, you also have fashion and styling as a course, and you have somebody on your team there. And having worked with stylists, one of the most important thing is that you have your branding. So my branding is red. It's red nails, it's red hair, it's red hair, red lipstick, it's hair jewelry, it's my jewelry. That's part of my brand and who I am. And so you have to feel comfortable with your own branding. And no, my branding is not going to be for everyone. So maybe this person doesn't want to watch our channel anymore, and that's fine. So I just would like to encourage people that we say positive things, we encourage one another, because there's always somebody who wants to rip you down for whatever reason. And this whole platform is about heart-centric work and picking each other up. What are your thoughts, Philip?
Oh, boom. You've summed that up amazingly. And again, one of the most beautiful things about, and one of the most important things about the power of etiquette and manners is that it actually helps you impart those moments, or helps you sort of take on that knock on the chin when someone is sort of giving us gears, as I say, or someone's putting us or trying to put us down. It really is something that I really love sharing with people. And when it comes to why manners and etiquette are so important, it really does boil down to there's 6 wonderful areas of why they are so important. And they firstly, they will help you earn respect. They give incredible charm and elegance to your personality. They make our relationships so much more smoother when you've got good etiquette and manners, because, again, they help you to swallow your pride and become more considerate to the feelings of other people and other people's emotions. And then the other thing that etiquette and manners do is they elevate your confidence. They give you an amazing amount of confidence and not arrogance. And by the way, having etiquette and manners doesn't mean you're a pushover, you've got soft touch. The other thing that etiquette and manners do is they really motivate us and they help us to stay sort of positive and happy, because when you're generous towards other people, for example, giving some of your time or complimenting or greeting someone with a beautiful smile, it really does elevate you. And that inner contentment is going to help you maintain a far calmer and very composed sort of demeanor. And even when we're faced with difficult situations, and for me, never stop showing good manners and being kind to other people. There's that wonderful mug we have here in the studio, in our organization, in a world where you can be anything, just be kind, and that for me is fundamental. It's about feeling good about yourself, which in turn it will elevate yourself and it'll give you that respect and keeps you motivated. And then the other benefit and there are many, many benefits of etiquette, manners, and your emotional intelligence is they impart strength to really digest failure. And if you think about that, we all make mistakes, we all encounter setbacks, or we all encounter someone taking a dig at us or a stab at us at times. And when your inner confidence is elevated by good manners and etiquette, it really gives you that strength to face those challenges, those struggles head on, and absorb the criticism and move on from it. And again, in life, there's always going to be situations that test our good nature or our patience, or even threaten to knock us down. And I think, again, I know for a fact, with a really positive mindset, you can maintain your composure and turn those situations, those challenges into amazing opportunities. You can learn from it and you can absolutely grow from it.
Powerful words and excellent discussion. Thank you so much, Philip. As we're coming towards the end of the show, one thing that I'd like to tie everything together with, whether it's time or it's money, is something that you alluded to before, which is expectations. So we talked about a role play about money, if someone comes to you with money and how they're going to tee up that scenario. What about when you give your time to someone and they don't follow through with what they said they were going to do? So for example, Philip, I would really love to have you coach me. I can't pay you actually, but in exchange for the coaching, I'm going to pay it forward and I'm going to give some guidance to Susie B, because I know she's looking for some help in that area. And then I take that hour with you and I don't do what I said I was going to do.
Moving forward from there, I would be very reluctant to then continue offering my time and guidance. If I did and someone took action and influenced other people along the way, then I'm going to say, hallelujah, that's an amazing use of my time. It's a gift. But if someone's not prepared to take action, Dr. JACALYN, it's very much like the analogy of that standing on the top of the hill with your mouth open, waiting for that duck to come flying in. It'll never happen. As I've always jested, I've got more chance of becoming pregnant than a duck flying into my mouth. You know, at the end of the day, I've got to go out there, and I'm all about animals. I love it, but I'm using an analogy. You've got to pop that duck out the sky with your gun. You wring its neck, take the feathers off, and put it in the pot in order to eat the duck. And that's the only way you're going to advance and move forward. We don't have a crystal ball. We can't predict the future, but we can help ourselves and help other people by putting their best foot forward. And it's up to you at the end of the day to take action.
Brilliant. That's so true, Philip. And I think also to tie that up with what we're discussing today is when you reach out to someone, if I reach out to Philip, I know how busy Philip is, and it's a blessing to just connect. If I'm going to have an ask for him, I better follow through, because that's my credibility. That's my integrity. And he's now given something to me, and what am I going to do with it? Am I going to follow through? Am I going to take the guidance and wisdom that he's given to me and actually put it into action? Because so many times people will reach out, and I'm sure you get this too with all the courses that you teach, that you have there at your school. Could I just take the course for free? I'm an intern. Or I live in a part of the world where we don't have that kind of money. And then maybe you say, okay, we'll work something out in exchange. And then the person doesn't follow through, but you did what you said you were going to do. Would you then reach out to the person and say, hey, Bob, I did XYZ. You said you were going to do PDQ and neither happened. So where do we go from here?
Well, find out what the explanation is. Maybe something did happen that prevented them from taking action. Again, maybe it's a mental block. One doesn't know. So I would always address the situation. I wouldn't do it aggressively. I would just go and say, hey, is everything all right? Because, and you might sort of, well, not might. I would always put a bit of positivity forward and say, look, I know you often a lot of the time follow through with things. And on this occasion, you haven't. May I ask why? What's the challenge? Is there something I can do to encourage you? And if you can see that that's falling on deaf ears, then just say, look, you know where I am if you need me. But for this to continue, I need to see you taking some action. And until I see that action, then I'm not really going to be giving you any of my free time going forward.
That was perfect. I love what you said. Now, I bet there's some people out there who could follow through for the whole thing until it was addressing the person, saying, listen, until you follow through with what you said, I'm not going to be able to help you. That's a tough one for people to actually stand up in their power and in their own respecting of their own boundaries and their own time. What are some tips that you can give people so they can walk into their own glory in this way?
For me, it's about structure and planning, and it really is. It's about looking, well, firstly, what do you want to achieve in life? And again, it's not going to come and land in your lap. It's not. If you show up in any situation, one of the opening when we discuss and launch any of our training programs, whether it's youngsters, teenagers, young 20-somethings into 30, 40, 50, 60, 70-year-olds, we get them to write down 4 things to start off with once we've gone through our introduction. And one of them in those 4 sentences is one person, one opportunity can change your life for the rest of your life. But that can only happen if you show up, if you present yourself in the right light, if you put that best foot forward. In other words, get yourself noticed because you made an effort. And then on the other side of the coin, you are the change and you can be the change. And people are looking up to you as a potential mentor and you don't even know about it. So whether we like it or not, come hell or high water, there are people that will be looking up to other people and you will never know who that might be or what the situation is. But they are in awe of that person. For them, it's a mentor and they are striving and thriving to be better than they were yesterday. But again, going back to that whole scenario, if you're not prepared to put that your best foot forward, you cannot expect for things just to start happening in your life. Everything's about give and take. That's just life.
Philip, once again, you have just brought everything into a beautiful package for people to take. So I thank you for doing that. And I know you have a special event that's coming up. I wish I could be there. So tell us what it is and are there any openings?
We've had 1 or 2, we had 1 cancellation, but we are so excited. I mean, I have such an amazing team and we had a team meeting the other day and I just said, I just want to thank you. I'm in awe of everyone's hard work and you've just been incredible. And I'm very blessed in the sense that there's a very level platform in this organization and everyone's got their own opportunity to make decisions and do things. And the energy and the effort and the passion we have in our organizations is, if you could combine that energy, you could almost fly to the moon. It's just unbelievable. And we are also excited. Young Sasha, who's 19 behind the scenes, is just going above and beyond to make sure there's a beautiful list and brochure for when our guests arrive. She's got on board presents. She's got everything going. Leanne's been doing a whole lot of different things behind the scenes. And we're launching this on the 17th of June, where we start off at Victoria Station. And we're going on this beautiful old train, which used to be run by a steam locomotive. It's where the royal family used to travel. It's beautifully interior design, beautiful wooden carvings, wingback chairs, where we receive the most incredible food, as in the cuisine comes from the Valley of Kent here in the United Kingdom, which is known as the Garden of Eden in England, along with a method de champenoise, which has been made here in the United Kingdom. For those of you out there, the United Kingdom is producing some incredible method de champenoise. In other words, champagne, but they're not allowed to call it champagne. It's sparkling wine made in exactly the same way as champagne, and it's rivaling some of the top champagne houses. So we're going to be going through the Kent valleys for Saturday. Sunday, they've got the day off. Monday, we've got going to the Covent Garden Flower Market, which is an experience in itself. The students are going to pick their own flowers, and then they're going to go back to the studio and then do an amazing flower arrangement. Then that afternoon, we are going to have a fine dining experience. And then I've got an amazing surprise for them when it comes to coaching and guidance in the coaching world. Tuesday, we are then going to the beautiful home of where hats really, I think, are or belong. It's called Lock & Co. It's been in this country, well, it started in the late 1600s, early 1700s. And it's where the Queens had hats made, or King Charles, many of the royals. It's one of the go-to places here in the United Kingdom. Then we're going to Floris, which is a perfumery that's been in the family for 9 generations. I mean, isn't that just extraordinary? It's again started in the 1700s, and it's still in the same family. And so they're going to go there. You can get your own perfumes made to your liking, to your skin colors and your skin oil, the oils of your skin and how it marries very well. Then lunch at Fortnum & Mason's. Then that afternoon, we've got a beautiful stylist coming along who is going to just be incredible. And then we've got one of our past students sharing her incredible stationery that she's created and the power of the pen. Then there's so many other things. We're going to the Lion King Theatre. We're going to go to the Ritz afternoon tea that week. One of the climate highlights of that week is going to Ladies' Day at Royal Ascot. For those of you out there, Royal Ascot was the Queen's most favorite event of the year. It's a week long of races, and it's just amazing the effort people make in their dress and how they appear, and it's just they embrace the days. And we're going to the Royal Enclosure, which is a very nice exclusive thing to go to. And we're going on a Thames River cruise dinner dance, and then we're having a lovely dinner on the Saturday to finish off this incredible week of elegance, finesse, and flair.
Philip, this sounds better than a honeymoon. It's amazing.
It's going to be phenomenal. It really is. We ran one very successfully last year for our amazing partner in Brazil, Patrizia. She came over with 10 amazing people from Brazil, and we did the photography, the highlights were just amazing.
So there are 1 or 2 openings left?
I believe there are. I heard from my team today because one lady couldn't make it. So maybe not every single event, but I think for the afternoon tea, for going to the Lion King, coming on the train possibly, I think there might be, where else? Space on the Wednesday during the day. So there are, we can take people on an ad hoc sort of basis. So if someone wanted to join us just for the day experience, for example, on the Monday, that would be very much doable. Again on the Tuesday and again on the Wednesday. The Thursday, I think the Royal Ascot is pretty much done. The Friday, we're going to the Tower of London. We're going to Twinings, the famous tea house here in the United Kingdom. That's got a few spaces left. And so does the evening cruise. And so does the gala dinner on the Saturday, also going to Windsor Castle in the day on Saturday.
And how can people get in on this before the 2 spaces are taken up?
All they need to do is email us at hello@thebritishschoolofexcellence.com and engage with my colleague Orsa, and we will take it from there.
Fantastic. Well, Philip, I'd be remiss if we didn't have an opportunity as we close out just for you to talk about some of the courses. How can people sign up?
Again, I would just urge anyone just to go to our website, thebritishschoolofexcellence.com, and email Orsa at hello@thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. And just have a look at our courses, have a look at what we can do for you. We can bespoke material for you as well. So where we really have incredible strength is the power of etiquette and manners, emotional intelligence, customer excellence, customer service, hospitality intelligence, and we impart tools to give you that confidence to help you put your best foot forward.
Thank you, Philip. I know you have to run. I just want to say publicly thank you for being part of our platform. Thank you for the people you have brought, to the show who have then gone on to do other things on this platform. I just really appreciate you, your team, and of course you as a person.
Likewise, there's a big ditto there. And again, this platform is such an opening for so many people, such an opportunity. I mean, if I didn't have a penny to my name and I had a computer and internet, I would watch all the shows on USA Global TV, because there's so much quality on when it comes to guidance, coaching, development, and we all have this at our fingertips. And again, I'm going to urge and encourage people to slow down on how much social media they delve into and spend time feeding your brains and nurturing your brains.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Thank you so much. And I look forward to chatting with you again soon. And thanks for being here today.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. As always, have a blessed, wonderful weekend, and may everything that you are looking forward to and wish for be coming your way.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Philip.
Take care. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. And thank you to each and every one of you who is watching or listening, whether it's live or on the replay. We just hit a new milestone. Actually, it was 2 days ago that we crossed over 100,000 views in the last 28 days. And today we're at 103,000. We're just over 19,500 subscribers. So we thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your likes, for your follows, for your comments. We are on all the other major platforms, but YouTube is really where I spend most of my time with our team to make sure that we have the right search engine optimization, our thumbnails are spot on, and we just are so gracious and grateful for you and for your support. If you'd like to be a guest, we have approximately 40 different shows. We're always adding. We love to add new people to our platform. Please go over to our website, usaglobaltv.com, book your session. You'll see there's a number of courses that I offer. I also am a certified life, career, and executive coach. I'm also a 3-time Amazon #1 best-selling author. We have a whole array of children's books to teach children the power of listening. So you can go over to my other website, drjacalyn.com. You can learn more about that. But I'm here to support you. This is a heart-centric platform, and we just welcome people from all over the world to share their stories. We'll be coming back very soon with Dr. Madeline Chan and her show, which is Talking Heads. Thanks for being here. We'll see you again soon. Bye.